So in this video, I'm going to kind of show you guys how I lifted the camper off, but I tried to film some videos from inside the camper just to show you guys what it kind of looks like, but my audio is all messed up. So here's the inside of the camper. I'm trying to watch. This bar right here actually links all these together. I just ran a screw, sorry, it's hard to do this. I ran a screw up through all these, and then I kind of notched them out. I was hoping, it kind of has a little sag to it, just a little bit, but you can tell, dang, I'm not good at this. You can tell that's my polycarbonate, and then above that is the tonneau cover. So it's kind of loose, but it's all fine. Back here in this board is all those holes. I'm actually going to, I have this Lexan or something like that, and it's kind of got like a yellow amber tint to it. Hopefully you guys can see that. The plan is to make little circles. I'm gonna put lights back there, so if you're camping in here, you can turn that on and have some lights, and it kind of goes with the theme of kind of some cheesy old yellow looking lights. So the plan is, on the inside of that bead, I want a mural that kind of wraps around the camper, but I'm gonna leave the inside by all the windows to look like a picture frame, and then leave also that outside. This is so ridiculous. Leave that outside all silver, so the inside's like a mural. And I need a bunch of these. I think they're called finishing screws. They have little washers on them. I need a lot more of those. The hardware store that I was getting stuff from, they were out. So yeah, I need to stain this board or make a new one. But camper shell's sweet. Getting it on and off is not that bad. But I really want that mural done soon, and I'd like to work on these LED lights for the back eventually, so that I got some light in here. And then I don't know, I'm gonna put that switch somewhere in here. Didn't show you guys these pulleys, but I got these little tiny pulleys, and I kind of ran these hooks. But these pulleys are tiny. It's got a little wheel on it. I would get a bigger one because it's really hard to pull and get that up, but I just screwed it to the studs up there. I'm guessing that camper shell maybe weighs 150 pounds, maybe 2. I really doubt it, but eventually I'm gonna grind this edge a little bit so that it pancakes down, and I'm gonna put sealer underneath it. But the plan is in each corner to put one of these little triangles, and then that's what the rails that I'm gonna have run across the back, that like a canoe or something could sit on. That's what I'm gonna have the mount to, is right here. And then on the bottom, it'll kind of pancake in between some supports. There's a support that runs here, and a support that runs back here. That way it kind of sandwiches the corners, holds the corners down. Seal all that with some I got some kind of caulking stuff, but if you're wondering why it's got a bunch of little dents in it, it's actually aluminum diamond plate. I couldn't find anything thick enough, but it's aluminum diamond plate. It's like 1/4 inch thick. I just flipped it upside down because diamond plate looks ridiculously cheesy. I couldn't do that to myself, but that's where we're at on the camper. Next up, besides doing these lights, like I was telling you, I really want to do cut the circles in there. I need to find some trim rings that fit those 3-inch holes. So I need to figure out that. Some more stuff I need to do is, I know this is hard to see, but on the bottom of this door, especially over here, you can see where all this aluminum just overlaps. I'm gonna make a window frame. I need to find something that I can screw into this aluminum under here. that will pin all that. I'll pin all that paneling down and make it look cleaner. But I also didn't really show you guys a ton of the door. But on this door, why I was saying it was hard is because when you shut the door, this needs to go on the inside, but you kind of need this little flap. Originally it has like some weather stripping on it, and that's what seals up against here. And another issue you'll find with your camper is that your camper has a lot of play this way. So your door might shut, but it might have a big gap here and then no gap down here. So I need some weather stripping. How I made that though is on the original door it had this little bent over piece, and so I just had to cut and trim and make sure I get the right pieces off of it, and then bend a bunch of little corners down and stuff like that. But not the easiest. But once I can get this thing to latch, it'll be awesome. I can't wait. Here's the hinges too. I didn't really show you guys these hinges, but they don't have any kind of shock in them. You kind of have to like play with them, like feather them up and down a bunch until maybe hold on to it, but until you get it to drop. But that's what we're looking like on the camper. But I do want to make that piece that comes over here and hides all that paneling. But the camper's coming along. So another thing I want to do besides this, besides these circles, is I want to pull all this off, and I want to insulate this camper. The downer with the roof is I can't insulate the roof where most of your heat goes out of. But I like to at least do the sides. I wish it was always warm, but it's not warm. I live up in the mountains in California right now, so I want to insulate that camper. I wish I could insulate the top, because I slept in it in a rainstorm one day, and it was so unbelievably loud. It was super hard to sleep. So at least to get the sides insulated, keep a little warmth in there. I'm sure this polycarbonate doesn't really do much, but maybe that and the tonneau cover insulates enough to keep me kind of warm. In the summer though, crazy hot. It's like you're sleeping in an oven. Alright, also on the camper, they had these like double-sided tape on here, so I am going to clean that off if you guys are wondering. That, and if you tell, this aluminum doesn't come down far enough, so I am going to clean that too. I need to mask it off. I don't want to mess up any of that brown. But if any of you guys live in the area, I am on the lookout for like some 1.5 inch aluminum tubing that I can run across the top of there for some ladder bars. I'd love to do that project soon. But I haven't had any luck, you know, like I was hoping maybe some old railing someone had, but Facebook Marketplace out here is not that good. I don't know. I kind of do live in an old person community, so I don't think they really get on there or sell anything. But if anyone has a connection on something around Stallion Springs area, I would love to find some aluminum for that. And I do have these. Sorry about walking you guys, but I do have these aluminum round stock pieces that my plan is to drill and kind of, I think they call it fish mouth it, so that this will sit right here flush, fish mouth, and then my rail will sit right on top of there. I'm trying to keep that as low as I can. I'm also thinking about maybe getting some, you know, fake brown leather or something like the top. I do have some material from the top actually, and wrapping it like a steering wheel and kind of sewing the bottom. That way it's soft, so if you put a canoe up there or something, it won't be rattling as much. Another thing I haven't really shown you guys is there's a big crease right here that you might not have seen in the early videos. The problem is whenever you pull this, whenever you go to pull on this tonneau cover, you have no leverage. And I actually kind of put my arm against there whenever I was pulling on here and put a little crease in it. And you know, I drive this truck, so it's not gonna be perfect. Back in the garage, got the GoPro set up in case this crashes, but the back's loose. The front, I made this little, I know it's kind of dark, but a little 2x4 with some hooks on it. But these pulleys are pretty hard to pull. So I'm gonna see, hopefully I can pull this up, tie it to this rope, or to this angle iron, and not totally kill myself. I really need to be underneath it to get a better pull, I think. But we'll see how this goes. Well, the camper's off. These pulleys are pathetic. They are so unbelievably hard to pull. I know this camper's got some weight, but not that much. I mean, me and my dad moved it, and you know, I'm not the strongest. So that's what the camper looks like, elevated. Hopefully I can gently let this thing down and not blow my camper up that I have way too much money into for what it is. But here's your camper. I haven't seen the truck without a camper in a long time, so kind of fun. It makes me really want to weigh my camper shell and see how much that thing weighs, but pull all that red off, pull all that black off. What I had under here is just some weather stripping from you know, like garage doors. So I don't know, keep working on this. This weather stripping's not even here unless it's stuck to the bottom of the camper. I'm sure it was on there. So these are those wooden dowels. Sorry. These are these wooden dowels that I had in there. A coupler nut. You run a nut through the side, and then a bolt through the bottom. Or sorry, a bolt through Allen bolt through the top, Allen bolt through the side. They just sit down in the stake pockets. But this one never lined up, so it was always an issue. I'll mess with all that a little bit later. Sorry, I'm trying to be chipper, but that was a pain. Super big pain. Hoping all my stuff doesn't break. I really thought I was going to be able to pull that up real easy. Maybe I can now that I can actually get underneath. I can actually get straight from the bottom instead of trying to pull this pulley from the side. So this just drops in. I just run this in there to hold it in place. But if you come look at it from the side, I run a Allen head bolt in from the side, and that's what actually holds the camper down in there. But you kind of have to like raise this up a little bit and move it around and then get it tight. But you can see these other ones. These other ones are tightened down in here. I keep them kind of loose until I set the camper on there. That way I can try to get my bolts to line up, tighten them up. I'll throw my camper shell on here in a little bit. Get all these in there. I kind of like it that way. I don't have to run. I don't have to run these clamps. They just look kind of crappy, and they because of the bedside, they kind of had to like stick out sideways. I had to notch them and stuff like that, but that's what I'm gonna work on. Try to get me and the woman to tip this thing up, pull it back up on the pulleys, get this thing on for the car shocks. Hopefully I'll pick up some cool stuff. My main goal is to get some, I need this other taillight trim, and then I'm looking for all the trim that runs up and across this body line. 67, 68s to me have the coolest trim. It looks really good, but I don't have it on my truck, so it would look good, and maybe it would cover up this amazing patch a little bit. But I've always wanted it, and I don't really want to spend $800 for a new like Marquez setup, but I'm sure theirs is amazing. Well, kind of blowing it. I lifted up the camper, obviously, put it on. I'll show you guys kind of how this works. Maybe I'll film this side. How this works. So those stakes are in here. That side bolt holds it. Well, I'm using it's actually like a weather stripping stick to, let's see where my finger's at, to lift that up a little bit. That way I can see the bolt, because I kind of want to see it line up, and all this can move this way a little bit, so I'll just kind of like play with it a little bit and get that to line up, and then tighten that up. And then I already got the front ones in. You can see these, and they actually kind of tuck behind my my paneling. My paneling's out, obviously. So once I get this thing all tight, I'll put that back on, and then it kind of looks like nothing's holding my camper on. So that's the reason I went to the extra effort to make these little stakes and stuff like that. So trying to get some cool stuff at this swap meet.